definitely a focus, and we definitely need a reliever. Even when our starting pitching has been doing really well, our bullpen is pretty good. We just got an arm back that was hurt for quite a while, Brock Stewart, but we still need a piece there, I think, as well. So I would say, pitching is definitely going to be the focus. And we do have some pieces that we can move if we want. But I'm really intrigued to see if the whole follow through is there on the rental, or if maybe people are saying that to try to drive the price up. I don't really know, but I think that's probably legitimate noise. Just depends on what happens, because as James said, everybody needs starting pitching. So it's just kind of a competition to see who's willing to give up the most to get that.
Yeah, and also to sit there, and Joseph also comments with James, if Quan, Ramirez, and Naylor don't turn around, it won't matter who they trade for. So
I said earlier this year, as far as Quan goes, so as Quan goes, so goes the offense. So he's still batting .341. So we'll have to see.
A little power this year too, all out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey, I love him on my fantasy team. Mm-hmm. So it's most of the other team that I don't like. But George, go ahead. You want to sit there and get down with the East?
Sure. Josh, I'm going to go with you because you guys are right on top of the division. So have at it, brother.
Sure. 61-41 right now. I don't even know how to describe the game today with Miami. The vibes are not as high as they should be. Been kind of treading water this past few weeks. Right before the All-Star break, lost 2 or 3 to the Yankees, won the last game, and another comedy of events, and then came out, took 2 out of 3 in Texas. Kind of looked like the offense was back on board, and then just a really flat performance in Miami, but not worried about the offense at all. They all have proven track records, and they're just kind of slumping right now. Like Gunnar just had an off series. Adley kind of had an off series. So obviously going to be buyers. The degree to which I'm still not sure, because we're still in uncharted waters with Mike Elias. We haven't really seen how he handles himself really in a situation like this. Like last year, we were buyers, but that team was not expected to be as good as it was. They were not, like, that was not, the trajectory that they had mapped out. So they kind of went in the middle and got Jack Flaherty and Shintaro Fujinami. So I would hope for a little bit more significant movement this year with them, not just because of the needs in the rotation in the bullpen. I would say we need like one guy who can start a game 3, and then one guy who can just give us a couple of starts until then, just to kind of bridge the innings gap. And then one high leverage reliever, and then another kind of middle relief guy. I think the needs are more glaring this year. And again, like with our farm system, there's really nobody that we don't have the prospect capital to acquire. So that shouldn't be any sort of inhibitor. Now, the whole Scoopel thing, I think that's just kind of national writers kind of creating engagement at this point. I don't see that happening. It hasn't been in Elias's nature to trade like elite prospects, even dating back to Houston. So I don't think they're going to move like Jackson Holiday or anything like that.
Right.
But I would love Tarek Skubal, but and even a right-handed hitting outfielder wouldn't surprise me, just because our center field production between Mullins, who's been either really bad or just kind of decent, and Austin Hayes, who's been just kind of very average at best. So that would be a kind of spot I wouldn't mind an upgrade on offensively, but everything else should be focused towards the guys throwing the ball.
Great. Taryn, so covering the Blue Jays.
Yes.
The panic has the panic button been pushed, and has the notice for the fire sale gone out?
I think it was pushed before the season started. I mean, here's my point. Ready? So we're complaining about why we're so bad, except your off season, you get Justin Turner, you get Afalefa, like just like you get Daniel Vogelbach, and then you're wondering why you're so far down the AL East. Vogie, gone. IKF, hurt. And then Justin Turner, man, I mean, he just, he hardly puts up anything. I mean, he had a home run, last night, 2 nights ago? But it's just
Be gentle, Taryn.
no,
Be gentle with Justin Turner. Be gentle.
I'm trying. It's just, it's a little frustrating at the moment. But, it's we come off today. We lost 13-0 against the Rays. That can't happen. And one, that can't happen in general, but two, that can't happen to your own division rival. And that's such a problem. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Vladdy's gone, Bo's gone. Vladdy's not gone. He wants to stay here, but two, they were basically, reports were like, oh, we're gonna keep Vladdy. We'd rather keep the team we have right now than rebuild. I get it, but it's how do you go from such a good 21 or 22 Blue Jays team to what you have now, and you're just you're under 500, and for the past few years you've been winning over 90 games. You had Marcus Semien, you had Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel, and they're all gone. It's crazy to me. And then you had Lourdes Gurriel, you had Lourdes Gurriel and Gabriel Moreno. They're with the D-backs, and you got Dalton Varsho. Dalton Varsho's a good fielder, but hitting, he could so step it up. And then Kevin Kiermaier could have been gone at the deadline, but no, he's going to end up retiring at the end of the season. And again, he's a great fielder. I don't know, man. And then Bo's value is going down with each calf problem he has, because he's on 10-day IL. He was hurt last year. He had to go down and play with AAA Buffalo. 21 and 22, you lead the league. You lead the AL, my bad, with hits. You have 191 hits and 189 hits. You're hitting over 20 home runs. Where is that? Where is the all-star shortstop that we knew had it in him since day one? He's so tough on himself, and I think that's the reason why he can't hit, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He says that he is fine with getting traded, but I don't think he's getting traded by this year. I think, if anything, he could potentially get traded next year, but right now, he's not going. And same with Vladdy. Jays want to keep him. He wants to stay. Mariners have been making a really strong push for him, but basically they said that they would only trade him if the offer absolutely blew them away. And in that case, I don't think Vladdy's going anywhere. He obviously started at AL, or he started game, but I'm not going to get into that because I have an opinion on All-Star games. And then he's been heating up, and so I just don't think that there's any room in there to trade him. I don't think the Jays are going to do anything before the deadline. And I'm not, that sucks to say, but they're just not the type of team to go out and go get somebody to help them, because they're just so far down that I think they've given up. If anything, I would really kind of like to get rid of Ross Atkins, and I like John Schneider. I like him a lot. I think he's been doing great. But Ross, man, any Jays fan I talk to is God, he has to go. And I think that ever since we had Don, he's just not been having us good. If anything, Yusei Kikuchi, our starting pitcher, goes to the deadline. I think we could maybe get something for him, but I don't know what. Or one of our relieving pitchers, Green, I think he could go to the Yankees. They really seem to want him, but I just don't think the Jays are going to do anything at the deadline, which sucks.
You don't see the moving Bassett?
I don't know, because it's I feel like Kikuchi has more value than Bassett, because Bassett, he's been pretty good, but he's not been great. He just it's tough because he had a okay season with us last year, but it's not been great. I think if anyone, Kikuchi has more value than Bassett does. And I think that if we want something, we could get more for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bassett's owed like 20. I think he's on 25 million his salary. So
Yeah, that's Blue Jays would have to eat some money on some of that for
Kikuchi's,
midseason.
I think, like because
He's on the books. He's on the books for the same amount next year, right? Right, Josh? I think. Yeah.
it's
Or
something in
flipping
that
with the
neighborhood.
draft.
Yeah, because
He's
Kikuchi's
flipping
actually
with the
somebody
draft.
that I was interested in for the
Yeah.
Orioles. So, and I know he's like in the lower teens salary wise. So,
You'd love him though. I absolutely love him.
mhm.
The Twins have shown interest in him too. They say it's only preliminary, but he's high on the list of who they're looking at as well.
Yeah, power lefty doesn't walk a lot of people. Well, at least this year. Occasionally has homer problems, but yeah, I'm all for a power lefty.
Yeah. George, do you want to sit there and talk about the Red Sox needs?
Sure. We need a right-handed bat. No surprise there. Our lineup has been left heavy for 2 years now, and it ties us up. You've got two right-handed bats that can hit for power and not often enough. They also need a starting pitcher. Big surprise. So does everybody else, and they could use some relief help. Again, big surprise in a contending team. Everybody's looking to turn it around. As for targets, I can see them knocking on Toronto's door and saying, "Hey, listen, we'd like to have Justin Turner back." Turner is very comfortable in Boston. Left field wall, he just beat that thing up last year. I can see him do it. I floated the idea a couple of weeks ago in my column that, depending upon what's going on with Tristan Casas, which the news, I guess, was a little bit better today, do they make a splash and go get Vladdy at first base? If nothing else, Casas comes back for next year, you spin Vladdy out in the, next year for, something big. But yeah, I can see the Red Sox going out and, knocking on the door for Kikuchi or Bassett. But the kid was a feed out of the White Sox, Flaherty in Detroit. Old friend Nate Eovaldi down in Texas, Jeff. James Paxton. I was kind of surprised that the Dodgers were going to DFA him. I wanted him back this year because I think that, he could do something. And the Boston needs a lefty. You get five, as left heavy as the starting lineup is to hit, the entire 5-man rotation is right-handed. So you can't even break it up. And that would be a good thing to have. And relief pitching, our bullpen is spent. Okay. Right now, Kenley's going to be back for the Yankees series. Martin is still out. And Justin Slayton, the Rule 5 kid we got, who's pitched some significant spots for us, is on the IL. Whiteside is a little bit spent. He needs some time off. And, we're just, AC, I'm glad we signed him, but AC's one flaw. He's a bullpen burner. So we need arms. Okay. We have some chips to throw off the major league roster. I can honestly see them getting rid of McGuire, maybe Master in the right deal.
McGuire
and somebody who would maybe get you something as an everyday outfielder who can play all three outfield slots is Wilyer Abreu. I'd hate to see him go, but he's one of those guys that could bring you something of value. The minor leagues, we got guys like Blaze Jordan, Nick York, Mickey Romero, Chase Mydroth, Corey Rozier, Matthew Lugo, all just about major league ready prospects that would be good. Pitching, a lot of our guys, anything of value is in the Double-A right now, in High A. So we're, but if they wanted to throw somebody, you could see them doing a Samlin or maybe a Bastardo, although I doubt that. And anything big is probably going to be one of the big three. My guess is Meyer, only because if the outfield stays the same and they can move some pieces around, that gives you Rafael at shortstop, which is not a bad move for us because he can play Gold Glove level defense at both positions. I don't want to see Meyer go, but if something big happened, and the only big thing I would throw out there would be Crochet or Scooble, but I don't I don't see the Red Sox dismantling the farm system for either, because the price is going to be, pretty much planet Earth and about 6 other planets in the solar system. So I'm not going to gut my system for one guy. So.
Yeah, George, we're going to sit there and piggyback. Joseph commented, and just like you said, the Tigers are going to want a massive haul for Skubal. He's not sure he sees a team willing to give up that. Flaherty is more likely the option in his opinion. And, we're going to move out to the West. And, Jeff, you brought your following here. Jeff is the guy at the Rangers game. Go Rangers.
Yeah, baby.
Rangers fan 205. So, Jeff, let's start with you. Let's start with you, man. Rangers, buyers, sellers. There's a lot of rumors that people want to pick apart your starting rotation.
Yeah, that's called clickbait. That's called clickbait. Those are the national people who don't know what to write. So listen, a couple people on here said everybody needs a starting pitcher. Nope, not everybody. Matter of fact, we got 2 guys that we're not going to have a spot for here in about a week. The Rangers won the deadline already. They got Evan Carter and Josh Young and Tyler Mahle and Jacob deGrom and Dane Dunning and Bradford back for a total of nobody. So here's our issue. Mahle's coming back. Bradford's coming back. Bradford was our best starting pitcher when we lost him. What are we going to do? Well, we've got Haney on expiring, while Lorenzen on expiring. Haney's gone like 9 straight starts. Been brilliant. We're definitely buyers. We're not sellers. Let's talk about Eovaldi. No. I mean, Red Sox are 6.5 out. We're 2.5 out. No, we're not selling. Eovaldi's not going anywhere. The only reason we would flip Eovaldi is if we were getting Holiday and more. I don't know. There's no way we're flipping Nate. I don't know if he's coming back. It's a weird contract situation, but the people we might move would be a Haney or a Lorenzen. Why? We're going to have too many starting pitchers, and they don't have options. What I think happens with the Rangers is they're going to stand pat. Jonathan Hernandez might be the odd man out. He's a bullpen piece for us because he's out of options. But I think more than likely, a Grossman leaves us, a Jankowski leaves us, and we add a 14th pitcher. There's 13 currently on the roster. Carter comes back. Young comes back. What do we do with Josh Smith? He's our 3-hitter right now. My point is, I would love a bat. Everybody on my Twitter wants a big bat. Everybody's talking about Vladdy and a bunch of other names. We have a lot of trouble with lefties. We're going to have Kikuchi, I think, tomorrow from you guys, Taryn. And we need a lot of help with that. But Josh Young coming back as that right-handed hitter should help out a lot. So my point in all that is the Rangers fans will tear down the ballpark if we flip a bunch of guys. We are 2.5 out. Houston. Now, here's my concern. The trade deadline. If Seattle goes and gets a bat or 3, if Houston goes and does what they did last year at the deadline, well, then maybe we're in trouble, because if we stand pat, then we fall to the wayside maybe. But 2.5 out, August 1st around the corner. I'd like to know who you guys think would win the West. I'm not going to ask everybody. I don't want to waste the whole show on that. But my point is the Rangers roster is just as good as anybody else's. The Mariners I look at as a weak roster, except for that elite pitching. Houston's good. They're at the end of their – Ben Verlander tweeted at me the other day, which I like. Hey, Ben. But that team is done after this year. So are they likely to buy right now? I don't think so. I think that would hurt them big time. What are they doing with Bregman? And we can go down that road too, I suppose. But my point is, I think we stand pat. Maybe flip a Haney, please no. Maybe flip a Lorenzen, please no. I hope not. I think Haney and Lorenzen end up in the bullpen, and I feel like I'm talking too much now. But I think we're going to win the trade deadline by doing nothing.
Well, out of every team that has been on here, and every team, you guys are getting, starting pitching back. And like you said, too much starting pitching is not a bad thing.
Mahle was a top 30 pitcher before he got hurt. DeGrom is the best pitcher on the planet if he's healthy. He hit 100 miles an hour the other day. He threw some sliders the other day. I like us for 2024. I like us for 2025. If you don't flip Haney and you don't flip Lorenzen and they end up in your bullpen and they give you 15 innings down the rest of the season and everybody stays healthy, well, that's a good problem to have. And I guess we got nothing back for him, but come on, everybody here watches baseball. When's the last time anybody went from late July all the way through the end with no starting pitching injuries? So one of them, Lorenzen and Haney, probably both of them will still get starts. It would be silly to flip them because we're afraid of getting nothing for them. Here's the thing, and I'll end with this because I feel like I'm talking a lot. Everybody's talking about the window. We're 2.5 out behind a very gettable Houston team. The window is freaking now. Simeon's not a young man. Seager's not a young man. We've got a lot of young stars, no doubt, but the window is now, and we need to play for today, in my never so humble opinion.
Well, Jeff, Brett sit there and says that DeGrom needs to stay away from reaching 100 miles per hour. So, and
bad news, that doesn't happen. He's freaking Thor with an arm, but they called the other guy Thor. But
he won 2 Cy Youngs when averaging 98. So
that's true. That's a good point.
But okay, Artie Leave. Let's sit there and let's get to you and let's talk Angels. What are your guys' needs? And well, we all know you guys. Well, actually, we don't know that you're sellers because who knows what your owner possibly could do.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into that, Jeff, you shouldn't be scared of the Mariners. The Mariners are frauds. And they lost a 10-game lead in just 20 games. So you should never be scared of the Mariners. Anyways.
That pitching, maybe. That offense, I'm good with their offense as a Rangers fan.
They're dumb enough to overpay for someone that they don't need to overpay for. So that's all I'll say on that.
You're right.
Anyways,
I agree.
Where we should be sellers, but the AL West is such a mess right now that we're only 8 games behind. That's how bad it is. With that being said, we have the A's and Colorado for the next 6 days, which means we could, if we win 4 out of those 6, we're at, I don't know, I think we're at like 50 and like 59, something like that. And so what I'm worried about is our owner is essentially almost like our GM. That's the bad part. Our owner is going to see this and be like, hey, we're only 9 games out. Maybe we should keep it and, see what happens. What the right thing should do is that we have such a young team is that if we sell off everyone that we're able to sell off, and if we bring in young guys and they're able to produce and we go on some crazy run, I mean, I don't see anything that's wrong with that. In a perfect world, everyone should be available. Jury should be available. Estevez should be available for literally anyone. I mean, unless I'm forgetting someone, he might be the top bullpen arm on the market right now. Baltimore should be calling. And Rengifo, I know Boston was asking about Rengifo. The Dodgers should look into Rengifo if they haven't already. Jury, I mean, he's just Christian Moore, if he does decent in the minor leagues, he's probably going to get called up, and we don't need a second baseman anymore. Ward, he's probably gone. Our entire outfield is super young, but they're hitting horribly, but they have pretty good speed, and their defense is pretty all right. So yeah, I mean, we're like a half like young team. I think the average age is like 27, so I feel like that's a pretty young team. Yeah, I mean, we should be sellers. That should be the goal, but I'm scared that with these next 6 games, we're gonna go 4-2, and our owner's gonna panic and probably not sell at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. These next 6 games are really crucial to the Red Sox. We might have said that we're buyers, but if we don't sit there and start pulling some wins in the next couple of games, they might slap that bad boy right in reverse and go full throttle, right, George?
Yeah.
So,
good God, no.
So let's go back up to James and let's talk trades. Who are you willing to trade to get some pieces you need, but who are the ones that you're not willing to trade to get the pieces? So James, let's start with you.
The one thing that we keep talking about here is the amount of middle infield prospects we have. And what is being reported is the team has made mistakes in the past, giving up on young players too early, and they feel that that's why I was talking about originally the showcasing of some of these players. Not only do they need to see it as an organization, what they can do for us currently, but they want to show to other teams that some of these guys can play at the major league level. The Jose Tenas, like I said, Brian Rocchio's at shortstop, but he's still in his rookie season. We just got the number 1 draft pick, Travis Bazzana, who's going to start Friday in Lake County in High A. He's somebody that they're talking that could be making it up to the big league team sometime even next year at this time, which would be impressive. But we also have Andres Jimenez at second base, and rumor has it that he doesn't want to move to shortstop. So, but he's signed a long-term contract just recently. So honestly, the Guardians are tough to call because they're very conservative with their trades. They do make a lot of great trades. In fact, the Padres are absolutely, we would trade any day of the week with them because we seem to make out very well with them. Starting pitching, when we were talking about the rotation, and I mentioned Bieber being out after week 2, they sent down just before the All-Star break, they sent down Tristan McKenzie and Logan Allen to AAA. So there's 2 of your 5 that started the season there. And then we just got Gavin Williams back, who pitched today, had his best game, pitching 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, but he's 0-3. So, and we also have the one guy that's forgotten about that everybody looked at the beginning of the year is Carlos Carrasco. And Carrasco's been our number 5, but he's had to actually fill in a little more than that. We're just happy to have a guy that's a veteran that can eat up innings. So who are we going to trade? It would probably be prospects from the middle infield position and potentially an outfielder. We got a George Valera out there, the John Mackenzie Noel, Jonathan Rodriguez made it up this year. So I really think some of the depth in the minors, starting pitching in the minors, somebody's probably going to want maybe an Aaron Davenport that's been a starting pitcher for the Akron Rubber Ducks that's led the Eastern League in ERA. And we got a couple guys up in AAA, Joey Cantillo. That's somebody who was injured a little bit, but he's back in the rotation there, but they're having a hard time extending his games, trying to get to 5 innings, trying to get past 5 innings. So that's where these minor leaguers, where you're not sure if you can just bring them up and they're going to, catch lightning in a bottle at the end of the year, or do we need to make the trade for that veteran pitcher? So I think if they're going to make a trade, they're going to dive into the middle infielders that we have an abundance of, and we're probably going to get asked for one of our starting pitchers, probably out of the minor leagues, one of our top prospects, just to gain another veteran starter.
That Valera could bounce. Everybody would want him.
What happened to Daniel Espino? I remember a couple years ago he was like one of the top pitching prospects.
Yeah, and in fact, I talked to Guards Pro. His name's Todd Paquette. Came on our podcast at the time, and my question to him was about Espino. Why is he just the number 1? He said he was the clear number 1, but due to his health, the last 2 seasons, they're not even. Some people aren't even showing him on the top 10 now as a prospect just because of the injuries. So, I look back, Red Sox guys, to a Derek Lowe that maybe as he started as a starter, that maybe if they can somehow get his career where they can get him in the bullpen, maybe Espino can have a solid major league career there. But as far as going into this year and trying to retain the Central Division lead and win the division and do something in the playoffs, I think that starting pitching is where we're going to need to help at.
Well, and to keep the lead, Anna, we're going to keep it in the Central. Anna, who are you willing to trade, to get and fill in those pieces you need? And who are you not willing to trade?
I mean, we called up one of our top prospects out of necessity, if you will, for injuries, Brooks Lee. So people were super interested in him, but that's just not going to happen. I mean, he was really hot to start with, just offensively. He sort of started to slump a little bit, but he's just so good defensively. And we have this sort of overabundance of infielders, but they keep getting hurt. So I think, if there's someone we're willing to give up, you look more outfield. I think we have some, major league players in the outfield that could possibly like get bundled in for, a starting pitcher, if you will, if someone wanted someone that was major league ready. But we also have Emmanuel Rodriguez, and then Gabriel Gonzalez. So those are two names that have sort of kind of been floated around. Like, I think if there's anything the team is willing to give up, it's going to be outfield to get starting pitching. And I mean, I was kind of perusing just to see if there was anything that new that had come out that I had missed while everyone was talking. And it's all still, they're really interested on a rental, which still blows my mind. But I think you would see a combination maybe of, one of those two prospects that I mentioned, plus possibly, someone off our major league roster that's an outfielder as well, because that's just where it seems the excess is at this point. Yeah.
Okay. George?
Okay, going to mix it up a little bit this time. Taryn, how about you? Let's talk about what the Blue Jays would be willing to give up, what they wouldn't be willing to do.
So I think as far as to give up, again, like I think that Kikuchi could be gone if they want to do something, because I think he's a pretty valuable. We could get something. But as far as players, we have two extremely good catchers with Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen.
She was going to say, and Varsho can catch too.
That they're leaning to getting rid of Danny Jansen, more so Alejandro Kirk. They're both extremely great on the defensive side, but offense, neither of them can just get their bats hot. And that's what's also struggling, because they're just not great. And then really just as far as who we're not trading, simple as it's really just Bo and Vladdy. I mean, they're staying regardless of what teams want them, what other writers say. Vladdy doesn't want to go, and the Jays don't want to trade him. Bo wants to leave. Jays don't want to trade him. And if he keeps getting hurt, I mean, like, trade value is going to go down. We could maybe get some good, like, players for him, but really just, I don't know, there's no point in trading him now, because, like, even the mess with, just the mess with all of our, like we pulled up, like, so many people from, like, Buffalo, like Davis Schneider last year, Ernie Clements at third, like, you have, like, Addison Barger from here and there, and then it's just, like, so many, like, that there's no point in trading your top two players when you know that they also have potential in them. It's just not there right now.
Okay. All right. And we talked about Bassett before, so I think that's a money thing, and I don't see Toronto taking on money. So, Josh, it's you probably have the most loaded farm system. So, what are you willing to give up?
Yeah, there's really no limitations when it comes to either the prospect capital or the payroll flexibility, because they have as much of it as anybody. Excuse me. Yeah, so I wrote down 10 names here, and that's just like the guys off the top of my head. Jackson Holliday and Samuel Basayo are our top two prospects. I would not trade them, well, certainly for anything that's going to be available at the deadline realistically. I don't think, like, Holiday is not old enough to drink yet. Currently has like a 950 OPS in Norfolk in AAA. He is almost 8 years younger than the average player in AAA, and he's still putting up those numbers. Basayo is 19 years old in AA, who he's been really hot recently. The bat is stupid. Probably gonna have. I mean, I don't think he's gonna catch full time just because of the dynamic that we have with Adley, but just two precocious hitters that you generally don't have two of them in your system at one time. There's probably there's like a list of maybe 10 to 12 guys in the entire league that I would trade them for. Kobe Mayo is another that some Orioles fans would consider untouchable. I personally would not, just because I have some concerns about his defense. So he's a third baseman. So first off, he's blocked there by Jordan Westberg, and second, just questions about whether he could stick. So he's probably going to be a first baseman. But then I guess that kind of leads me to the other issue. Like, we don't have spots for all these guys. We just simply don't, unless there's a new position added in the next collective bargaining agreement. Like Connor Norby, who's currently up now filling in for Jorge Mateo. There's just not room for him in this roster full time as a regular. Kerstad, they're finally working into a full-time role, but that's still, I think at some point they're going to have to clear out like Austin Hayes or maybe a Mountcastle. Then you have like Dylan Beavers is a corner outfielder. Kyle Stowers is a corner outfielder who's been up with us, but we just can't keep him on the roster because there's simply not enough room. I think he would be an intriguing option for like a bullpen arm, something in that range. But yeah, really Holiday, Basayo, the only two I would not trade. And Kerstad, probably not. It would have to be, it would probably have to be Skubal to get Kerstad. Don't think I would trade him for Crochet, but yeah, they, even with two untouchables, they have plenty of wiggle room and kind of combinations they can conjure up.
Yeah. I know for the Red Sox, I mentioned a few of them a little while ago. You have an awful lot of infield talent at AAA and AA right now, in Blaze Jordan, Nick York, Chase Mydroth. You got somebody, in high A now, Mickey Romero, who was hurt last year, starting to get it back a little bit. Stablemate on some summer teams with Meyer, Rogier Lugo, also some outfielders. As I said before, the pitching depth starts at AA, but is really in high A and A. So you're not going to do anything there to hurt yourself. The one guy that you might see gone for the right price might be Winkleman Gonzalez. Okay. Got good stuff, but with him, it's always, does he lose it from time to time? The one thing, the big three, Meyer, Anthony, and Teal, as I said before, Skubal or Crochet, but I don't see them doing that. Okay. They've taken a very strong approach, which is they want to keep these guys together. They really want to do something with them. And they haven't rushed them to the major leagues, which is a good thing, okay? Because there's nothing worse than having a young player lose some confidence because he doesn't do well. See Mr. Holiday, okay? And I'm glad to see he's down in Norfolk ripping it up, particularly in that purgatory of a stadium he has to play in. But I think those are the potential people you'd see. I don't see them moving any of the big three. On the major league roster, McGuire, our backup catcher, please, goodbye. Take him, please. I'll throw in a bag of balls with it. I
would be careful with that language around him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Masataka Yoshida. We are heavy in left-handed bats. Somebody needs one, doesn't mind a lefty DH, and you kind of don't mind a little less than average defense. He might be able to help you. William Abreu, I don't want to see them do it, but he could be the expendable part there, given some of the outfield depth that they have in the minors with guys like Weiss and Corey Rozier and stuff like that. I want to see him because I think he could be our everyday right fielder, but they have talent, so it's a nice thing to have. I think that they'll probably spin some of the talent I mentioned for relief pitcher. But you're going to have to give up something to get starting pitching, and I'd be interested to see what kind of deal Breslow would spin for that. And it's gonna be interesting. So there's some trade block chips that a lot of teams might like to have, particularly in our high minors. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, let's sit there, switch it out to the West. Jeff, we started with you last time, so let's go to Artie Leave. Who are you willing to trade on the Angels, and who are you not willing to trade on the Angels?
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, I think everyone's available except our young guys. So guys like Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Shanuel, and then obviously Trout. I think everyone else probably is or should be available. Or actually, some of the guys in our bullpen, like Ben Joyce, things like that. Literally, all the young guys. Everyone else should be pretty available. Yeah, no, I think the guys that we have available, like Rengifo, Rengifo has, I think, like two or three more years of service. Estevez has this. I think Estevez would be considered a rental because I think it's only this year. Tyler Anderson has another year on contract. Who else? Drury would be a rental because I think this is his last year. And then Adele has years of control. I think the guy with the most value is going to be Rengifo, just because he's a switch hitter. He's really fast. His defense is. I personally don't like him because he's so hot or cold that he's such a headache when it comes to the Angels. Like, he starts playing good when we're 10 games under. So it's like, dude, why are you even on this team? And I swear he was throwing games on purpose. Some of the plays he was making, I swear he was throwing games on purpose. But I mean, I hope teams are dumb enough to not view all of that and hopefully overpay. Our outfield is horrible. Our outfield is horrible. I mean, Moniak is barely hitting 200. Adele, I think, is also barely hitting 200. Ward is hitting like 220, and I don't understand why his fielding is so kind of lazy at times. He kind of just jogs to balls. So if we were to get anyone, I would assume our targets would be like an outfield bat, and I would assume it would probably be more offense than defense based. And then obviously, starting pitching, I think would be the goal. But yeah, I think that's kind of the map for us.
I wish they would just trade Logan O'Hoppe out of mercy. Like, he deserves so much better.
He's great.
It's his first year.
He's so good.
So
he's a good ball player.
His first year, so he has to suffer a little before he's able to get traded.
That's fair. Neto's been hitting with some power too, so that's good at least.
He's good too.
Yeah, Neto, I think Neto's going to probably shoot for a 2020 season. So, yeah. So, I mean, we have some pretty good young guys. They're not like popping out on paper because they're so young and they only played barely a season in minor leagues. So they're kind of just learning as they go in the major leagues. And what I really kind of respect out of them is the fact that they're able to learn so quickly, as the season goes on. Like, both Shanuel and Neto started off the season horribly, and in the later parts of the season, they've played a lot better. So I think it's really just trying to capitalize on that young talent. So we're probably we should be dealing the most with Baltimore because of the fact that you guys just have so many guys that it would be dumb not to. And then the Mariners are dumb enough to overpay and probably give us a pretty good package. So I would want someone like Wu, but I don't know anything about prospects and or value, so I'm not going to throw out like crazy ass like trades. But yeah.
Okay. First off, already retired 5-0 said earlier, the Phillies need an outfield bat. We'll be happy to take Trout off your hands. So
Got hurt again.
Yeah.
but,
So would I.
yeah,
That's
So-
like that though. Yeah, that one's never gonna die. That one's gonna be like Durant playing for the Wizards. Like people just assume like he's from here.
His contract
So-
is not movable.
No.
yeah. Well, Jeff, before we go to you with the Rangers, bam, Ranger 205 says, tell Taryn to watch out for Rangers fans in Canada.
We're coming up there. What? We're on the plane right now, I guess. Probably, all right. Not many.
Yeah.
Have
So-
Kikuchi get traded right now so we can, laugh
Well,
at it.
you wouldn't have to face him either.
Exactly. He's tomorrow, right? I think he is. I don't know. Maybe
He is tomorrow, yeah.
we can't hit lefties.
No.
So can you please trade him before we get there?
No, that's okay. I want it for one more game.
Yeah. So Jeff, who are you willing to trade for the Rangers, and who aren't you willing to trade?
I'll start with the aren't. Nate Eovaldi. Like I'll say it. The clickbait national writers stuff is insane. If I'm wrong, I'll be so unhappy. I don't get why anyone's talking about that at all. Obviously, he's got a weird contract. Will it vest all that? I'm not going to bore everybody with that. I think the guys who might get. I don't think we're going to trade anyone. I'm just going to put that out there. If we do, and they're off of the roster, it's a Haney, it's a Lorenzen, maybe both. I don't think that's happening, but it would make some sense because we have some weird contract situations. I mean, in 7 to 15 days, we've got 3 or 4 guys that are going to be added to the roster, and only 1 or 2 guys on the team that have any options to go down to the minors. And then if we're talking about prospects, Emiliano Teatro, he started the Futures game the other day, first pitcher ever to throw 2 perfect innings to start the in any innings, but he started the Futures game and looked brilliant. Sebastian Walcott, I would say they're both Walcott's a full untouchable, I'm sure. No one's really untouchable, but he's not Jackson Holiday, but he's not going anywhere. I don't think Teatro's going anywhere either. People are talking about Leiter. They're not going to move Leiter. They're not going to move Leiter. Kumar Rocker hit 100 the other day. He's pitching on Friday at Double-A. He could be a name that might get flipped. I don't think so. I think we're standing pat. I really do. Who I want, if I'm wrong, we need another left-hander in the bullpen. Jacob Latz has been good. His ERA is good. He gives up a lot of other people's runners, if you ask me. I would love a Tanner Scott. I would love an AJ Puck, both from Miami. I wouldn't mind the kid or the old guy from Detroit, Chafin.
Chafin, yeah.
Yeah, McFarland in Oakland. A kid at the White Sox. Is it Banks, maybe? I don't know. I might have that wrong. There's a lot of, and I would take a righty too, but I like our bullpen. I don't love our bullpen. Leclerc's been real good lately. Robertson's been real good lately. Yates is, again, a name that the national media, who doesn't know how to do their research, apparently throws out there. It makes no sense for the Rangers to trade Yates. None at all. So if you're reading a national person who's talking about Eovaldi and Yates, I think they're stupid for talking about those things. I just think it looks, because if you look at who has expiring contracts that are arms, both in the pen and starters, well, the Texas Rangers have a few. I just named them. I don't think they're going anywhere. Again, if I'm wrong, it's Lorenzen and Haney. I feel like you asked me another question, but did I get that? I mean, I want to relieve it. I want to relieve it.
Who wouldn't you be willing to trade to get what you need?
Eovaldi. Scherzer's not going anywhere. Max has already said he's not going to accept a trade, and they're not going to offer him out there. I mean, who else are we looking at? I mean, Nate Lowe, everybody, Texas Rangers Twitter is can be interesting. And I don't know why we hate a guy who got a Silver Slugger and a Gold Glove over the last 2 years. Everybody thinks that, Babe Ruth plays first base and is available or something. But I love Nate Lowe. I think he's very, very underrated. But people talk about us flipping him. That's not happening. I mean, Simeon's not going anywhere. Young's not going anywhere.
No.
Seager's not going anywhere. The outfield stack with Carr. I mean, the Ranger faithful want Tavares to get traded. First of all, I don't think we'd get anything for him. And second of all, he's freaking good. I mean, he's not a superstar, but he's a good major league ball player. So The answer to your question is we're not trading Eovaldi, we're not trading Yates. And if I'm wrong, everyone should unsubscribe from me because I'm stupid, because I just don't think there's any chance of that happening.
So, okay, let's sit there and do a little rapid fire. Trade deadline. You can get one person. Who do you want them to trade for that will make a big difference for your season to go forward? Okay, James, we're gonna start with you. Who you trading for that you want that will make the difference going forward to make that big playoff run?
I mean, Crochet is everybody's probably top starting pitcher, but with, like I said earlier, trading within the division, I just don't see it as realistic. But that's the one I would hope for because, unlike you guys, we have a 76-year World Series drought here in Cleveland. So we would love to do anything we possibly could to finally end that here this October or early November. So probably Crochet. Yeah, I know. We do have Austin Hedges that brought that with him back to the Guardians.
Send him our way. We need a backup.
No.
Kinser's okay. I love him. I'm a huge I'd vote for him for president, but that's not a big deal.
Okay, Anna, who's the one person that you'd want the Twins to trade for that could make the difference?
I think a bullpen arm is more realistic than a starting pitcher at this point. So I think we target Carlos Esteves. We have stuff to give up to the Angels, and he's solid. So I think that's who would be at the top of my list, trying to be halfway realistic.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
All right. I am an agent of chaos and don't respect rules, so I'm going to list a few, one for each need. Starting pitcher, Crochet. I think that's, goes without saying, although the innings limit is a bit of a conundrum, which I think a lot of people aren't talking about enough. For relievers, my ideal target would be Jimmy Garcia from the Blue Jays. High leverage arm has closed for them this year since Romano has been out. High 90s fastball, really good secondary stuff. And then a right-handed outfielder, either Kevin Pillar or Tommy Pham.
Okay. So, Taryn, what about you for Toronto?
I don't have anyone specific really. I think defense, honestly, except for that middle infield, but with Bo out at the moment, I think it's just fine. It's whatever. I think really just a bat. I mean, Vladdy's obviously been heating up, and then George Springer's been doing pretty good with these last two series. But everybody else, oh my gosh, we just cannot produce hits. We cannot get anyone on base. And I would really just like to have a bat where we can get on base, and you just you feel more comfortable when they're up to bat, and you don't feel oh, we're gonna strike out, we're gonna get a ground ball to second. You don't feel like that.
Okay. First off here, around the ballpark says hello, baseball friends. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Great name.
Just spoke with them last week. They're really good guys.
Yes, I'm the one that sent them your way.
Yeah.
So Joseph says Brent Rooker and Garrett Crochet for the Guardians.
Rooker's
Rangers fan 205. Jeff is the GOAT. That's why we got him for all of our Rangers content now.
Appreciate the love. Rooker's a stud. I want Rooker. I don't know where we'd play him, but I mean he hits and we can't hit lefties, so there you go.
Don't make me cry over Rooker. We gave him up.
So, George, let's sit there and go to you. Who's the one piece that you want for the Red Sox?
I'm going to take a page out of Josh's book. Reliever. I'd like to get the kid Chafin out of Detroit. I think that he could help the Red Sox.
He could.
Starting pitcher, Tyler Anderson from the Angels. I think that he's somebody who could benefit from what I referred to the other day as Bailey dust. Andrew Bailey kind of helped whisper in his ear and making him even better.
He's having a good year. Bailey's a magician, but Tyler Anderson having a good year.
I think he could do better, and I think that he could benefit from a real pitching coach. And then for a bat, a couple of people just mentioned it. As much as I want Justin Turner to get back, I don't see Toronto making that deal right now because the Red Sox would want to take on money, and I don't see the Blue Jays doing that. I had written down earlier Brent Rooker. I can see Oakland doing that, particularly in light of the fact that Miller broke his pinky finger and they have no idea what's going on. So anything they're going out for is gone. And that hurt him because Miller was certainly a target for some leading contending team to try to pry away from Oakland. So
Thankfully,
we'll
it's
see
his
what
non-throwing
happens.
arm still.
What's that?
Actually, thankfully, it's his non-throwing hand. I believe it was his left pinky, but still.
But
yeah.
still, I mean, everybody's going to shy away from that. He takes a hard one off the glove, up the middle, and what are you going to do?
Like he's pitching with a sprained UCL. Like he sprained it last year, and he's rehabbing it. Like he's doing what Bradish tried to do. He's doing what I think only Masahiro Tanaka has done successfully. So that's another thing that kind of scares me about him.
So,
Cool.
George, I'm going to sit there and jump in here. Taryn's not going to like me, but I'm trading Marcelo Meyer and give me Vladdy. We could feed Red Sox fans for years to come with Duran leading off, Casas, Vladdy, Devers. Like, I wouldn't want to face those first four batters.
You might like that left field fence, Vladdy might.
So, but man, I'm sitting there. I'll give you Myers, shortstop. Bo gets hurt too much. I'm willing to give up Marcelo Meyer. Red Sox fans are probably going to sit there and throw hate mail at me, but I think
no, you would never open yourself up for that, would you, Rit? Come on.
Well, this is my theory. So Don Rafaela can play shortstop. We can deal with our outfield now until Roman Anthony is able to come up. Like Marcelo Meyer.
Roman Anthony. Yes, please. Great.
No.
Yes.
We're not giving him up. That kid's got too many tools.
I was at the Futures game and the Derby. That dude was like watching the MLB The Show or something. It was nuts. Amazing.
Well, we've already got a shirt ready to come out when he's ready. The Roman Empire,
I love it.
Conquering. So, but Taryn, I want Vladdy. Give me Vladdy. We'll sit there and take your pride and joy from Canada, but we won't leave you empty-handed.
I'm telling you, you got to give up like a lot for him. They do not want to let him go.
Well, Marcelo Myers is the tip of the iceberg. He's our number one prospect. So, and I think that young kid Zanatello in the Red Sox farm system, I think he could be just as good as Marcelo Myers. So I'm willing to give up Meyer.
Probably have to put Teal in there, no?
Who?
Teal?
No.
No.
Gotta give up stuff to get stuff.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, he fell to us last year.
Yeah.
And Connor Wong's doing a great job, but Teal's a much better player all the way around. And he can benefit when he comes up by not only having Tech on the bench, but having Connor Wong in his ear as well. No, you wouldn't give up Rushman, and I wouldn't give up Teal.
So, okay, Jeff, it's on you now. Who's that one guy?
Tanner Scott. I want him. I like AJ Puck, but I want Tanner. I've always loved AJ Puck. I liked him since before he got drafted. But Tanner Scott is the answer. He fits the bill. It's Miami. They're not going anywhere. We could flip them a couple prospects. They're stupid if they don't flip Scott because there's no value to them for having, and Puck for that matter. I like Chip, and I like McFarland. I like Banks. What other? I guess is there the Beeks guy from Colorado? Maybe anybody who's a lefty. Again, we've got Latz. Latz is pretty good. I would like to be better than pretty good, and Tanner Scott is filthy. It's not sexy to talk about middle relievers. A closer become a middle reliever, but that's what I think we need.
Hey, Artie Lee, what about you? And we're going to say, you can't say about Trout being 100% healthy, stuff like that. And so who would you want to give you that big push for a playoff run?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to be realistic here. So
Say
I think that.
Say Ohtani.
I knew that was coming.
I think trading for someone like Wu or Pages from the Dodgers, I think that'll definitely help us, considering that they're both pretty young. And I would just like to add that apparently Vladdy told a Spanish reporter that he wants to play in Anaheim at one point. So just want to throw that out there.
Just
So
like
even if he's 40, we'll still take him. But I just want to throw it out there.
No, Adi will sign him to a personal services contract for a long period of time. We know he loves that.
That's right.
Well, heck, he can play in Anaheim. He plays a series there once a season.
That's right.
Bam, he just. I'll stick up for you for this time, Karen, because I knocked you down a little bit earlier. But yeah. So, but man, hey, I want to thank everybody for coming on this AL trade deadline to make this successful. So we're going to go around the horn, let everybody know, starting with James, where they can find you at and your final thoughts.
You can find me on X at the Fritz 330. Also follow our show at The Land Sports Show as part of Believe Land Media. And what was the other part? I'm sorry.
Any final thoughts you want?
Final thoughts. No wonder I forgot it. Yeah, like I said, 76 years of a drought that's, down here in my cave. I have a picture of the 1948 World Series team. It was in the Cleveland Press newspaper, American League champions, and on the back of it has about 19 autographs. And we have the National Sports Convention now going on here at the IX Center in Cleveland. And I'd love to take that up there and get that authenticated. Nice. But, honestly, more than that is I would like to have a new picture, a new newspaper, a new poster, a new pennant of the Cleveland Guardians actually winning the World Series. And whatever can make that happen this trade deadline, I'm all for, if it means you got to mortgage part of the future. So, best of luck to everybody. What's fun about this conversation and what's fun about Major League Baseball right now is there's so many teams that can still feel actively involved with the potential for a playoff spot. So that's what makes it fun. I love baseball. I'm a baseball fan through and through. So I'm happy to get to meet you guys, and I hope the best for your teams also. I'll have to be a little bit easy, Anna. Not too much. Good luck to you guys with the Twins there. Please stay below us in the standings. But for the most part, everybody have a great rest of the second half of the season.
James, didn't I see you win the World Series on some movie a couple years ago? Pretty sure I did.
That was a pennant, technically, wasn't it?
You're talking about Major League?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Never mind.
So, Josh, you're up next.
Cool. Yeah, you can find me at JJLINNJJ on Twitter. Also, my podcast page is at OC with JL. And yeah, just been trying to stay as even keeled as possible throughout the season because this is the best that the Orioles have been since I've been a fan. It's been since 2005. But yeah, really hoping some urgency at the deadline is exhibited from the front office, and hopefully we can strengthen the bullpen. And this will be the last week that we'll have to endure the current iteration because it's been a bit of a slog. But I think we have as good of a chance to win the World Series as just about anybody. And I hope that urgency is reflected at the trade deadline, and also excited that this could potentially be a multi-year run. Yeah, so just really excited to be an Orioles fan right now. I'm actually going down Sunday against they're playing San Diego for Adley Rutschman bobblehead day. So yeah, just really excited about the rest of the season and excited to come on and be able to talk with y'all.
Hey, thanks, Josh. We always reach out to you for all Baltimore Orioles news. Anna, talk to us.
You can find me on X at FKAANNABANANA, and it's on the screen just in case, but it's FKA and a banana basically. You can find me now on Tuesdays at 8 Eastern with my co-host Joseph, who is in the comments as well. Thanks for that. He is a Guardians fan, so James, I actually host a weekly every Tuesday space with the Guardians fan. We talk, Twins and Guardians and the rest of MLB every week. So I'd love to, have anybody come listen in. Maybe people join in here in the future. That'd be awesome. And
Sure.
final thoughts. Just I'm optimistic for the rest of the season. Just if we can stay healthy, if we can, at least it's been fun, starting off kind of dire and where we're at now. And I do hope we keep cutting the lead from you Guardians, but it doesn't seem like that's happening ever. We lose when you lose. So I've been eyeing wild card for a while now. So I hope the Twins fans don't hate me for that, but always a pleasure to be on here with you guys. First podcast I ever went on and agreed to go on, and I have no regrets. So I'm always happy to be here and talk baseball with you guys. So thank you so much.
And long live the rally sausage.
And I told you, from the beginning, I would wear you down to get you on the podcast, and now you do them every time that I reach out to you. So, thank you for coming on like always. Artie Leave, you're up, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. What were the questions again? My bad.
Where they can find you at and your final thoughts.
Oh, right. My bad. Yeah. So my name is actually my handle on Twitter. It's at Artie Leave. I'm trying to get a follower of every team. So I actually just tweeted that out like an hour ago or so. So I think I'm missing Tigers, Twins. I don't know. I'm missing like the whole Central divisions because for me they're kind of respectfully irrelevant.
And Andrew right here, so you're in good shape there. So
Flyover country.
Yeah, I just followed you. So
besides that, if we sell off the right pieces, watch out for the Angels next year.
Okay, Jeff, you're up, man.
I'm still Jeff at Texas Clubhouse over on YouTube. Rangers fan Jeff over on Twitter. I want to say thank you. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate the invite. I guess it was James. I love baseball. I'm a Rangers fan because I live here and that's where I go to the games and they're my team. But I love baseball. And we were just blessed. We had the All-Star week here. I think Taryn said that she's not big into the All-Star game. I've never really been big in the All-Star game either, but it was a freaking amazing week. Baseball. I got a lot of content in my phone that needs to get out onto YouTube. So if you care about that, check it out. I got kind of fun story with Livy Dunn, which you need to, it's not out on my YouTube channel yet, but me and her mom are buddies now. But anyway, we'll talk about that next time. And my final thoughts are, let me just ask you guys, don't answer, just shake your head yes or no. Am I crazy to think that the Rangers are in a strong position to take the West? Am I nuts? Go ahead and tell me I'm nuts, or okay, all right. I see. Okay, everybody's saying thing. Maybe I'm being a homer. I hate
the Astros.
Oh boy, I hate them too, but they're good. But I really think this is the end. I think this is the last year they're a threat. And if Seattle, again, this is all dependent on the trading deadline. I love this time of year. I think George was talking about how he loves the trading deadline. I do too. I love it. But I'm more worried about us screwing it up than gaining anything right now. But I just want to say thank you to all of you. I'll follow all of you if I haven't already. I think I did. But appreciate the time. And I guess I'll shut up now. But I appreciate the invite.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. And we're going to be seeing you in a couple weeks when the Red Sox Rangers series comes about.
I look forward to it.
Taryn, you're up next.
All right.
Last but not least.
To finish me off, Sports Fan Taryn on X, and then you can also find me talking about literally any other sport on my podcast, Girls Love Game Day. I'm a huge football person, so that's where I shine, really.
Who's your team?
I am a Lions fan through and through.
Nice.
So I'm heading down to training camp tomorrow morning, so that'll be extremely fun.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm so grateful to be on here. And my last final thoughts: Blue Jays 2025 World Series champions and Vladdy MVP.
Vladdy MVP, yeah, he will be on the Red Sox.
Yep.
So,
Oh.
so, well, guys, thanks for sitting there and stopping by. You know, I want to thank everybody for that was in the comments and everything to make this AL trade deadline successful. Make sure you head on over to BSEN 617, our Twitter handle, our YouTube. Give us a follow, give us a subscription. Also, if you love merchandise, man, make sure you go head on over to BSEN 617.square.site. You can get a few of our great shirts, our Mi Casas as Su Casas shirt. Our, you know, I'm not even going to say it. I got someone that's going to sit there and hook us up right now. Bam, hold on.
Hey, what's up? This is Jonathan Papelbon, 2007 World Champ with the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox all-time saves leader, 6-time All-Star, Red Sox Hall of Famer. And I just want to say go to the website, BSES617.square.site. The Pesky podcast, myself, we are giving away Halkomania t-shirts at 20% off, man. The charity, the Caritas Family Solution, it's going to that, so it's going to a great cause. So y'all go get your shirts. Get ready for Halkomania. Tanner Houck going to be an all-star this year. Maybe future Red Sox Hall of Famer like myself. So go get it, baby. Halkomania.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't say it as good as Papelbon, you know, but guys,
Bryce Harper's favorite closer, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
The Orioles.
So
caused
guys,
that. I love that.
But yeah, man, just sit there and get your Halkomania shirts. We're working with Papelbon and Tanner Houck.
That's awesome. Wow.
With Halkomania, 20% of the sales go to Tanner's charity, Caritas Family Solutions for kids. We're gonna be having pictures. In the next coming week, we sent down, I think it was 42 shirts for all the kids he supports, Halkomania shirts. So, you know, guys, it's a great cause. You know, do what Papelbon says, BSEN 617.square.site, and order yourself a Halkomania shirt. We have several to choose from. But for the OG, for myself, and for the AL trade deadline show, thanks for stopping by the Pesky Podcast. Guys, make sure you also check us out tomorrow at 8 o'clock for our National League trade deadline show.
I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you